Hello, and welcome to Your Vote Counts, a public informational, nonpartisan service program designed to get acquainted with the candidates vying for the 2022 general election for Congressional District 6, Senate Districts 10 and 11, House Districts 17 through 23, Salem City Council, and Marion County Commissioners. These interviews come to you through the producers at Capital Community Media. Collaboration on questions and moderators from the Association of University Women, Salem City Club, and the League of Women Voters of Marion and Polk Counties. All 27 candidates for these races were invited, and all but 6 chose to participate. Candidates did not receive the questions prepared by the League of Women Voters ahead of time. Candidates were invited to prepare a 2-minute opening statement addressing their background and qualifications for the office, and a 2-minute closing statement addressing their goals for the office if elected. I'm Tomika Dew from the League of Women Voters of Marion and Polk Counties, and it's my pleasure to introduce Tom Andersen, who's running for House District number 19. Welcome, candidate Andersen. We look forward to your opening remarks.
Thank you very much for inviting me. I am the son of a Presbyterian minister in Chicago who was involved in various issues of the day, racial, social, economic justice issues. Our dinner conversation was about how we can make the world a better place. And that's what I've tried to do. First, with my family, I have 2 boys who both speak fluent Spanish because I sent them to Spanish immersion schools. One is a public defender lawyer. The other is a doctor in a nonprofit clinic at the Oregon coast, and they both use Spanish every day. Then I tried to make my neighborhood a better place. I was the chair of SCAN for several years. I was also in charge of the land use program for SCAN, and that's South Central Salem. Then I worked on the city council. I have been on the council now for 8 years. And from the council, my next step up is the legislature, and that's what I'm hoping to do. I was a very effective city councilor, and I know I can be an effective legislature. I've been a trial lawyer for 45 years. That's very helpful in questioning witnesses, especially maybe state agency folks and city administration folks who don't necessarily want to give you the whole story. The other thing is I know how to get in, look at the issues, get out in an appropriate period of time. And finally, I don't make enemies out of my adversaries. I can work with people across the aisle. I respect everybody. I listen to everybody. And in my work on the council and in my work on the legislature, I will try to move things forward for the people of Oregon.
Thanks for that background information. Now let's give you an opportunity to address our questions developed for this interview. Our first question relates to the Inflation Reduction Act. Could you please discuss it and what elements will benefit Oregon?
Well, the Inflation Reduction Act is sort of a misnomer because it does more than inflation reduction. It also has some climate action elements to it. But I will tell you that inflation is a problem that faces us, and it's basically due to 3 things in my view. The first one is housing, the high cost of housing and affordable housing. We need to do something about that. I can do that in the legislature. The second thing is the high cost of drug prices. And we need to bring those down. And the third thing is the high cost of medical care and the unavailability of medical care for all Oregonians. And in the legislature, I will work to address all these areas of inflation as well as climate action. I started the climate action plan in Salem, and I want to continue to do that work in the legislature.
Thank you for that. What do you think about renewable energy tax credits?
I think they're terrific. I'm going back to my climate action task force. I set the goals in conjunction with 350.org of 50% GHG reduction by 2035. GHG is greenhouse gas, and carbon neutral by 2050. And in order to do that, we're going to have to provide incentives to wean people away from fossil fuels and other things that are just contributing to the global warming and contributing to the climate crisis we face. We are in a crisis, but we are also in a period of great opportunity, and all of us working together, including giving tax credits for renewable energy, will help improve the future for our children and our grandchildren and all the way down.
Our next question is, what steps should be taken to address Oregon's youth mental health needs?
Well, many should be taken. I will tell you, there are a lot of, let's start with the homeless situation. A lot of youth are homeless, and that leads to mental health crises because of their situation with homelessness. We need to focus on our children. And I know that the CAT tax, which is a tax based on corporations, the goal of that is to provide more funding for education. And we need to ensure in the legislature that more funding is provided for education. And education includes very much treatment and consideration of and work with folks, young children and youth who have mental and emotional situations that we can help, and we can help through the money that is comes in from the CAT.
Next, let's explore an aspect of elections. What is being done to protect and support county election officials and support staff as they conduct their election duties? Is there anything else that should be done?
Well, that's more of a national problem, Tamika, than it is an Oregon problem, because we have an excellent voter situation here in Oregon. For example, we can register when you get your driver's license. We have voting by mail, which has proved extremely effective. And I will tell you, when it first came to Oregon, I didn't like it. I wanted to go down and vote at the polling place. But I've really become convinced that it is safer, and it clearly provides for a greater level of voter participation. And that's what we want. And we want everybody to vote. No voter suppression tactics that are being tried in other states. They're not here because of our wonderful system of election, but we have to be ever vigilant.
Considering Oregon's unique taxpayer kicker policy, what impact do you think it has on the financial accountability and stability of state government?
Well, first of all, I wasn't in the legislature when all that stuff was passed, but I understand that we need to look at this when I'm in the legislature. The devil's in the details here. In general, the kicker should support citizens who don't need to pay as much taxes as they are, because taxes are very much of a burden on the lower income folks. And I think we should continue to do this, but we also have to balance the economic viability of the state. But once again, that was a decision that was made by prior legislatures, and the devil's in the details. And I would be happy to work on that situation if there presents a problem, because what we also need to do is continue to support our small businesses, which kind of come into the same category as taxpayers in the lower income brackets.
Thank you for that. Now, a question about education. How should we address the teacher shortage that Oregon is experiencing?
Well, again, the CAT program that I talked about will also be directed to more teachers and higher pay for teachers. I also want to say that public education is important. I'm someone who has two sons who have gone through public education, including the university systems in this state. We need to protect our public education. We should not be providing vouchers or other payments from people who want to go to charter schools or non-public schools. That's an extremely important aspect. And in order to do that, we have to support our teachers. We have to support the support staff in the schools, and we completely have to support the school administrators, whose job is to educate our children for a good future for them and for us.
Thank you for that. Does Oregon have the resources to provide adequate and accessible health care to Oregonians? Why or why not?
Well, part of the problem with healthcare is that it's extremely expensive. And, we have the Oregon Health program that takes care of lower income folks, but it really affects every single person. I think we ought to look at better ways to deliver healthcare to our citizens at less cost to them and leading to better health outcomes than we currently have.
Considering the CDC public health statistics on injuries and death from shootings, how do you want to address open discussion around guns in society?
Well, I tell you, as a Salem City Councilor for 2 terms, we experienced, since we're the state capital, we experienced a lot of open carry, people strutting through the streets with basically weapons that are only designed to kill people, not to hunt, not for self-protection, not for target practicing. I tried to do something about that on the city council and was told that the state preempts local agencies or local governments from doing anything about open carry and about gun control. So we need to address this at the state level, and we need to make sure that rights of people who use their guns for self-protection and for hunting and for target shooting are protected. But we need to look carefully at weapons of mass destruction and weapons that are only designed to kill other people.
Thank you. And turning to our last question, what is your experience in working with diverse groups? How would you bring a broader-based policy process into state planning and decision-making?
I have been an advocate for racial and social justice my entire life, starting with my father in our minister's household. I recently was awarded the Salem Kaiser NAACP Martin Luther King Drum Major for Justice Award for my work in racial and social justice issues. I have issued resolutions supporting the DACA Dreamers. This is at the council level, condemning white supremacy and institutional racism. I have spoken at Black Lives Matter protests and George Floyd rallies, starting out by saying, I am a privileged white male. I have no idea what people of color face in our society every single day. And all the actions that the city has done, we have, especially in climate action, we have tried to look at things through an equity lens. I, on the council, have instituted diversity, equity, and inclusion training for the city councilors and the department heads. So we live in a pluralistic, multiple races, ethnic groups, religions, countries, society. And that is one of the things that makes America great. So we need to encourage diversity and celebrate it, not try to tamp it down.
Thank you, Candidate Andersen. It's now your opportunity to share your 2-minute closing statement about your goals for the office if elected.
I've already talked about myself, but now let's talk about Salem. Salem is facing all sorts of problems and has, just like every city in the nation is facing. Affordable housing, inflation, climate crisis, racial and social justice issues. And I believe as a Salem City Councilor, I effectively address these issues. And we need effective representation of Salem in the state legislature. So here we are. We have the same problems now that have faced us on the council, the same problem in the city, the same problems face us at the state level. What are we going to do about affordable housing? What are we going to do about the homeless among us? What are we going to do about our climate change? What are we going to do about supporting small businesses and job creation and employees as well as employers? And what are we going to do about inflation? I can effectively address these issues as I have in the past, and I look forward to representing the people of House District 19 in the upcoming legislative session. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tom Andersen, for our interview today and for sharing your thoughts.
You're welcome.
And thanks also to Capital Community Media for their extensive technology and producer skills used to create this program. Thank you to the League of Women Voters of Marion and Polk counties for the design and preparation of this program, and to AAUW and the Salem City Club for help with question development and providing moderators. And thanks to you, the public, for watching this program to become a more informed voter. For more local, state, and national voter information on candidates and ballot issues, visit vote411.org. You have until October 18th to register to vote or to make any changes in your registration. Ballots will be mailed around October 19th and 20th, and according to a new law, will be accepted if postmarked before or on November 8th. Elections matter. Remember to vote because your vote counts.